I want to make a musing about A Course in Miracles, based on my observations of people who study the Course and who speak about it. And the disclaimer here is I myself have never read the Course in Miracles. So if I have the wrong impression from what those people that study the Course are conveying, please feel free to correct me. What is it that I don't like about A Course in Miracles? It seems to me that it's a similar written work like the Bible. Because it's a channeling from Jesus, it would sort of align itself with what we know from Jesus's words in the Bible, and it's kind of building on top of that. And I see the Course encouraging people to bypass themselves. It seems to still be studied and understood from a separation consciousness, a fragmentation of lower self and higher self, and the mind, or the ego mind, is still held in a negative light. It's still considered as something you have to be very careful with, you have to be very disciplined about, and kind of keep your reins on it. And the Course encourages to bypass mind. It seems with the mantra that nothing in this world is real, that it is a dream, an illusion, and that we're just dreaming. And if we can tap into the higher mind, the Christ mind, we can kind of bypass the mind and judge the world, judge the mind for all the things that it does wrong. I don't find that, or I should say, I haven't seen any material from the Course that speaks from the place of integration, integrating your mind with your soul, or with your higher Christ mind. And just very much like the Bible, the mind and the ego is always held as an unsavory thing. So I can only speak from my own experience. What I'm sharing, I haven't learned from books. I've learned it from working with my inner child, with my shadows, reclaiming my ego that was so vilified through my Christian years, because the Bible is all about deny yourself, deny yourself, deny yourself. But in that environment, it's very difficult to gain any sense of self-trust. Even in the Course of Miracles, it speaks in terms of trusting Jesus or trusting the Holy Spirit to bridge, be the bridge between your lower ego mind and your higher mind. But this idea of lower and higher self doesn't really get dissolved except through spiritual gymnastics. You see, in my experience, I have looked at the mind, at ego, in terms of another immune system in our body. It's the immune system for our psyche. And the ego, like the immune system, when it detects an inflammation in the soul, in the psyche, because a trauma is triggered, the ego will be triggered into defense mode to protect the soul from feeling abuse and emotional pain. It's very much like a fever response, and we're not trying to get rid of the immune system when we have a cold, but we're trying to find out what is causing the feverish condition. What is the viral infection, right? In the same way, we have to think of our ego in terms of the immune system. What is the viral infection that triggers ego into action? And it is our inner child trauma, our shadows, that separated us, dissociated us from our self, from our being, right? There is only one self, actually, but it got fragmented because of trauma and childhood conditioning. And our self split into two separate parts, the ego and the psyche. So the way to bring down the virus, the way to bring down the fever pitch of ego, the predominance of ego, is to heal the inner shadows, the childhood trauma that caused us to dissociate from self, that caused us to self-loathe, that caused us to self-distrust, that caused us to be really uncomfortable in our human condition. Those are the things that we need to heal so that our ego immune system isn't constantly going, showing up, isn't constantly triggered into action. When the inner shadows become healed, you can lower the temperature of your ego, and you will find that it will become less and less reactive, and it will actually simmer down. And as ego simmers down, the voice of your spirit or the voice of your soul and intuition will become louder, and it'll be more easy for you to hear your higher mind, hear your soul, right? And when there is balance between ego and soul, then you can function in the peace of the Christ mind. The triggers are not keeping you hyper vigilant and in a different state of your brain. You can calm down, and then you'll be able to respond from a more balanced mind, which then becomes the one mind, the unified mind. So that's my reason why I don't like ACIM or A Course in Miracles. I feel that it is not helping us integrate into our one being, but we always keep a part of us at arm's length. And real peace comes when the whole being is unified as one.